They told us it would never happen. They told us to stop asking. They told us Paige was done. And yet, WWE just did the one thing that's guaranteed to break the internet and split the fanbase in half. Paige is back, and her first shocking moment is with Liv Morgan backstage at Monday Night Raw. Let that sink in. Now ask yourself this before we go any further. Why would WWE bring Paige back now of all times? Coincidence or calculated chaos? Because what happened backstage wasn't just a "hey, nice to see you." This was tension. This was history. This was a collision of two completely different eras of WWE's women's division, and fans are already choosing sides. Which side are you on? Paige or Liv? Drop it in the comments. Think about it. Paige is the woman who changed the game. She walked so the entire women's revolution could run. She fought when women barely got time, barely got respect. Liv Morgan? She represents the modern chaos, unpredictable, emotional, violent, and unafraid to burn everything down to prove she belongs at the top. So when these two cross paths backstage, it's not just awkward, it's explosive. Reports say the energy shifted instantly. Liv didn't look starstruck. She didn't look scared. She looked territorial, like Paige had just walked into her house. And Paige? That smirk. That calm confidence. The kind that says, "I've been here before and I own moments like this." Be honest, who do you think felt more threatened in that moment? Paige seeing how wild Liv has become? Or Liv realizing she's standing face to face with a legend? And let's talk about timing, because WWE doesn't do accidents. Liv Morgan has been spiraling, losing control, losing patience, losing trust in everyone around her. Paige returning right now feels like someone lit a match next to a barrel of gasoline. Is Paige here to mentor, to manage, or to remind Liv that no matter how crazy you get, there's always someone who paved the road first? Here's the real question nobody wants to ask: what if Paige isn't here to help Liv, but to replace her spotlight? Fans online are already arguing non-stop. Some say Liv has earned her spot and Paige should stay in the past. Others say the division needs Paige's presence to bring legitimacy and fire back. Which argument makes more sense to you? And don't ignore this detail: Paige didn't confront a champion. She didn't seek out management. She went straight into Liv Morgan's orbit. That's not random. That's intentional storytelling. WWE knows exactly what it's doing by putting these two together. Imagine it. Liv Morgan vs Paige. Chaos vs legacy. Rage vs experience. Who survives that war? And here's where things get even crazier. What if this isn't a rivalry? What if it's an alliance that turns toxic? Could Paige be the voice in Liv's head that pushes her too far? Or the anchor that finally stabilizes her? Would you rather see Paige as Liv's ally? Or her greatest enemy? Comment right now. Because one thing is clear: this meeting was not a nostalgia pop. It was a warning, a statement, a promise that the women's division is about to get uncomfortable, personal, and downright violent. Paige didn't just return to WWE, she returned to shake the foundation, and Liv Morgan might be standing directly in the blast zone. So I'll leave you with this: was this the most shocking backstage moment of the year? And if Paige steps back into the ring, should Liv be her first opponent? Sound off in the comments, share this with every WWE fan you know, and stay ready, because Ring Rumble is just getting started. Because if you think that backstage moment was just a tease, you're not paying attention. WWE doesn't plant seeds like that unless they plan to let them grow into something ugly. And Paige showing up near Liv Morgan isn't nostalgia, it's provocation. Ask yourself this: when was the last time Liv Morgan looked truly comfortable? Exactly, she hasn't. She's been unhinged, reckless, desperate to prove she belongs at the top. Now add Paige to that fragile mental state. That's not help, that's pressure. And pressure creates explosions. Paige knows mind games. She invented them in WWE. That calm stare, that half smile, that silence? That's intimidation without saying a word. Liv thrives on emotion, on chaos, on feeling disrespected. So what happens when Paige doesn't raise her voice, doesn't flinch, doesn't react? Who do you think cracks first? And let's be real for a second: Liv Morgan has fought her whole career to escape being underestimated. Paige returning instantly shifts attention away from everyone else. Cameras follow her. Fans chant her name. Headlines write themselves. How do you think that feels for someone like Liv, who's been clawing for relevance? Would you be angry if someone walked back in and stole your spotlight overnight? Now here's where the story gets even darker. Paige's history isn't clean. She's been betrayed. She's been pushed aside. She's been forced to watch from the sidelines while others lived her dream. What if she sees Liv Morgan and thinks, "That should have been me"? Younger, wild, dangerous, everything Paige once was and everything she lost. Is this about respect or jealousy? Because if Paige truly wanted peace, she wouldn't be anywhere near Liv. She'd stay neutral. She'd stay safe. Instead, she chose the most volatile woman on the roster. That's like walking into a room with a ticking bomb and smiling. And don't overlook this either, Liv didn't back down. No fear, no apology, just that cold stare back. That tells you everything you need to know. Liv Morgan isn't looking for guidance, she's looking for dominance. So let me ask you this: if this turns physical, who takes it too far first? Fans are already split. Some say Paige should never wrestle again and WWE is playing with fire. Others are begging for one last run, one last war, one last unforgettable feud. Which side are you on? Protect Paige's legacy or let her risk it all? And imagine the promos. Paige calling Liv a cheap imitation, Liv firing back, saying Paige is a ghost clinging to relevance. No titles needed, no championships required, just pure hatred. Would this feud be bigger than any women's title right now? Because here's the truth: WWE doesn't want to say out loud this division needs a spark. Something real, something emotional, something that feels personal. And Paige vs Liv Morgan feels too real. This isn't about wins and losses. This is about identity. This is about who belongs. This is about who gets remembered. So before this explodes on screen, answer this honestly in the comments. Is Paige here to save the women's division or destroy Liv Morgan to do it? And if this ends in a match, no rules, no mercy, who walks out standing? Watch closely. Because that backstage moment, that wasn't a reunion, that was the beginning of a war. And wars in WWE don't start with punches, they start with silence, with looks, with moments that make fans argue for weeks. That backstage encounter between Paige and Liv Morgan, that silence was louder than any chair shot. Because notice this: security didn't rush in, officials didn't separate them, nobody laughed it off. Everyone around them looked tense, like they knew something bad was coming. WWE cameras don't linger unless they want you uncomfortable, and they wanted you very uncomfortable. So let me ask you something simple but dangerous: if this was reversed, if Liv had returned after years away and crossed paths with Paige in her prime, do you think Paige would have backed down? Exactly. Paige built her name on rebellion, on breaking rules, on not caring who she upset. Liv Morgan is doing the same thing now, but in her own unhinged way. That's why this feels personal. It's like looking into a mirror and hating what you see. And here's a detail most people missed: Liv didn't walk away first. Paige didn't either. That moment ended because someone else stepped in, which means neither woman was done, which means unfinished business. Do you think WWE is testing fan reaction before pulling the trigger on something huge? Because social media is already on fire. Some fans are saying Liv would destroy Paige in today's WWE. Others say Paige's presence alone would mentally dismantle Liv before the bell even rings. Who has the mental edge here, experience or madness? And let's talk about consequences. If Paige gets involved in Liv's storylines, that changes everything. Title pictures shift, alliances crumble, other superstars get pushed aside, all because one woman walked back into the building. Is that fair, or is that exactly what WWE needs? Now imagine this scenario: Liv spirals even further. She starts losing matches, blaming Paige, accusing her of manipulation, and Paige, she stays calm, claims innocence, plays mind games, until Liv snaps. Who looks like the villain then? Because here's the scary part: fans might side with Paige. Not because Liv is wrong, but because Paige knows how to make you doubt reality. And Liv Morgan? She already doubts herself. Would you trust Paige if you were Liv? And if this leads to a match, it won't be about technical wrestling. It'll be brutal, emotional, sloppy, personal. The kind of match that shortens careers and defines legacies. Should WWE even allow that match to happen? This is bigger than a return, bigger than a feud, bigger than nostalgia. This is a power struggle between past and present, and only one of them gets to control the future. So one last question for the Ring Rumble faithful: if Paige is truly back, who should be more worried, Liv Morgan or the entire women's division? Let me know in the comments. Keep watching closely, because the next time these two share a screen, words might not be enough. And here's the part that should have everyone paying attention. WWE didn't announce Paige. They didn't give her music. They didn't give her a heroic walk to the ring. They let her exist near Liv Morgan. That's the most dangerous kind of return. Because when WWE wants nostalgia, they give you a pop. When they want chaos, they give you a slow burn. And this is a slow burn headed straight for an explosion. Think about the psychology. Paige doesn't need to touch Liv to hurt her. All she has to do is be there. Stand in the background. Get whispered about. Get compared. Let Liv hear the crowd react differently. Let Liv feel that shift where suddenly the room doesn't revolve around her anymore. That's how doubt starts. And Liv Morgan is already wrestling with doubt every single week. You can see it in her eyes. You can hear it in her voice. You can feel it in how reckless she's become. Now ask yourself this: what happens when Liv finally snaps and Paige is standing right there? Because make no mistake, WWE loves stories where the younger star creates their own monster. If Liv loses control and attacks Paige, suddenly Paige isn't the instigator. She's the victim, the legend, the one everyone feels sorry for. And Liv? She becomes the villain WWE can never fully take back. That's the trap. But here's the twist no one's talking about. What if Paige isn't targeting Liv because she's weak? What if she's targeting her because she's the only one dangerous enough to matter? Paige doesn't insert herself into safe stories. She never has. She goes where things are unstable, where emotions are raw, where the audience is split. And Liv Morgan right now, she's the most unstable variable in the entire women's division. Which means this isn't random. This is Paige choosing her battlefield. And notice this too, Paige hasn't said a word yet. No promo, no explanation, no reassurance. Silence is power in WWE. And the longer Paige stays quiet, the louder the speculation gets. Is she cleared? Is she wrestling? Is she managing? Is she manipulating? Every unanswered question puts more pressure on Liv. Because Liv has to react. Paige doesn't. And that imbalance? That's how wars start. So now the real countdown begins. Not to a match, not to a confrontation, but to the moment when Liv Morgan finally can't take it anymore. When she demands answers. When she forces Paige to stop smiling and start choosing sides. Because eventually WWE will make them share a ring. And when that happens, it won't feel like a match announcement. It'll feel like a detonation. So watch closely. Watch Liv's expressions. Watch Paige's positioning. Watch who WWE puts the camera on when the tension rises. Because this story isn't asking if it turns ugly. It's asking how far